All right, hump day here in the CycleSource mobile studio, getting ready for another outstanding episode of the Motorcycle Cannonball Chronicles, going live in just 3.5 minutes. Good to see all you guys piling in. Moises in the house with us, Mike Draco first across the line tonight, Jimmy Bradley here with us, hi from Milwaukee, David Bird, let's go, Steve Henderson, Airway Heights, Washington, Tom Banks, rider number 21, good to see you here, Tom. Walter Bednarski, New Jersey, Keith Kronoff, Brian's in the house again from Minnesota, Swansea, Mass. Russ Journey, Kearney, Nebraska, Brad Kilpatrick, Tiffany Williams, and you guys are piling in. It's going to be a great show tonight. Grab something cold to drink, kick back, get ready for Rob and Jason to take you on a ride across the country with the riders, racers, and machines of the Motorcycle Cannonball. Going live in just 3 minutes. Stick around. Hey Keith, thanking us for the Daytona coverage. Listen, man, it was our pleasure. So good to see so many people back in Florida for the rally after an entire year of craziness. And man, the motorcycles were just off the hook. But thank you for the kind words. Our pleasure to do that stuff. Mr. Bashline in the house. Don Bashline, so good to see your name up on the screen, man. Matthew Miller, rider number 46 from New Jersey. Flybrod checking in from Cody, Wyoming. Don Gilmore, chase number 22, Pittsburgh, in the house. Richard Campbell checking in from Hotlanta. Okay, fellas, straighten up. The boss lady's in the house. Leanne Sims, Mike Draco, Cincinnati. Richard Campbell, Wetlanta tonight. Yeah, I saw that from Walt Lumpkin, said wet Georgia. Hey, 30 seconds left. It's time to get this one out of the garage and up on the road and go live with another killer episode of the Motorcycle Cannonball Chronicles. Here we go.
Well, hey there, Cannonball Nation. What's happening? That's right. We're back. We had a little bit of a 2-week break here, but we're back with another episode of Cannonball Chronicles tonight. We have a really great guest on tonight. Excited. I just personally got back about 2 days ago from Daytona, Florida. It was a really great meet out there. It was really great to see everybody, interact with some people, enjoy some sunshine, see some old bikes, buy some old parts, all that kind of stuff. So excited to be with you guys here tonight. I want to bring in my co-host, Mr. Rob Nussbaum at Retro Cycle. What's happening, Rob?
No, Jason. No, he's not. No. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Hey, how you doing?
Well, what's happening?
I was just talking behind your back a little bit. That's okay.
It's pretty normal. So
Pretty normal. Pretty normal. I was checking out the social media stuff for a little while there, and we have a happy birthday to wish. You know who I'm talking about?
um,
Your root master.
oh yeah. It is John Clausen's birthday today. I seen that earlier.
Yeah.
Big happy
So
birthday to him. I talked to him earlier. He didn't mention anything about it, but
we want to wish him a happy birthday. He's out there working his butt off for the Cannonball and the Chase, I guess. So
yeah, absolutely. We're actually leaving in 2 weeks to do the first course run on the cross country chase, the mini chase, which maybe we'll just spend a quick minute here talking about. We're going to open up official registration for the 2021 cross country chase, what we're calling the mini chase, the Secrets of the Ozark. Come April 1st, riders will be able to get online and secure their actual positions on it. So we'll be taking deposits, rider info. So, I mean, if you're interested in it, make sure you get on the website now and pre-register. We're going to send the link out to pre-registered people before we actually put it out to the public. So, if you want to get a chance and get on before it could possibly be sold out, make sure to get pre-registered. And we'll be releasing a bunch more information on the website this week and to pre-registered riders. So super excited.
super excited. I had number 46 here. Matt Miller was here yesterday.
Oh,
we were
yeah.
working on his Chase bike, got that squared away.
What did he ride? A big twin flathead?
Yeah, but not this year. Not this
year.
Got
something secret?
He's got Velda's sister.
Oh, VL.
Yeah, he's got a 34 VL. Beautiful looking bike. And Matt's getting ready to shake it out and give it a shot and see how it goes. So, we had a nice visit. It was nice to see him. We got some work done, redid the tubes in his tires from his last Chase bike. And I made Matt get his hands dirty, which he's no stranger to anyway. But
right.
Put him on the tire machine and says, there you go. Have at it, buddy.
Nice. I tell you what, man, VLs are hot right now, aren't they?
Hot, sizzling hot.
I don't like that because I'm a VL guy. I can't even find no VL parts right now.
You're very leaky. Yes, I know that.
But I like to see that VLs are finally getting a little bit of recognition and people are enjoying them and riding and rebuilding them.
Yeah, and if anybody out there has any VLs or VL parts, make sure you contact me.
Yeah.
I'm actually chasing a couple of them right now. Hopefully I can get them, but the guy I think knows he wants to make all the money off of it. So can't blame him. Blame him.
Cannot. But now your phone's going to be ringing off the hook.
Yeah, off the hook.
Where there's a few VLs.
Call Retrocycle.
So heck yeah. So let's talk about Florida for a minute.
Yeah, I was just going to say you just came back, huh? So.
Yeah. What a great show. I think overall, for a typical Daytona, Florida AMCA meet, I think the vendors were down a little bit. I think the general traffic of outsiders was down a little bit. But man, the people who were there were happy. They were excited. People were spending money. It was a great swap meet. It was great to see a bunch of the Cannonball and Chase guys there. Daytona as a full, with other shows like Warren Lane's True Grit, it was off the charts. I've never seen that area so busy. Daytona as a whole be so busy. It was crazy. So hopefully that's kind of a sign of things to come for this summer. So,
yeah, I think. Well, I mean, people are anxious to get out and go to these meets, see people, but also, people been looking for stuff for over a year now.
mhm.
So as things loosen up, I think you'll see attendance way up this year at events like. I mean, I bet you Sturgis, I know, was off the hook last year, but I bet it'll be even more well attended this year.
That's the word on the street. That's the word on the street right now. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's numbers for that are looking really good also. So,
Are you going to
um,
Oli?
yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to. It's a little far for me to drive.
Yeah, it's a
I have some other commitments, but I mean, if somebody wants to pick me up in their private jet
mine is
or sponsor a
mine is
plane ticket, I'd be
my
all over
my
it.
jet my jet is down right now. Otherwise, I'd come get you, Jason.
So no, right before that, I'll be doing the Texas Fandango. I may shoot up to Kelly Modlin's at Twisted Oz, and then I have a commitment at the Mecum auctions, which is the week after Oli. So trying to make all that work probably isn't going to work. So, unless something
Yeah,
happens.
I'm a definite maybe for Oli.
Mhm.
I don't.
I hate
I
to
don't
miss
know.
that one. I mean, Oli is a really good meet. I just talked to some of
Oh
the
yeah,
board of
Oli's.
directors of the AMCA today, and they are it's 100% go now. So I mean, as of a few days ago, it's 100% go. So that's good news for you guys out there that usually go to Oli. So
Cool. Hey, we want to remind all you folks out there watching to put your comments up, and wherever you're watching from, we want to know where you're watching us from. We want you to comment on the show. Your feedback is very important to us. And Jason, tell them what they got to do.
make sure you mash that share button and then hit the like button, and then yeah,
And
hit a
then
few
mash
comments,
it
all that kind
again.
of stuff.
And then mash it again, right? You
And
got to
mash it a few times.
mash,
Yeah.
mash that
So
share button.
if you don't think you
Yep.
shared it once, share it twice.
Yep. Yep. And we'll try and keep an eye on your questions and answer whatever you guys have to say. Hey, I am switching gears here, but I am really excited about tonight's guest. This
Oh
is an
yeah, yeah.
old friend. This is an old friend. He goes out of his way to stop and see people while he's doing his work, and I'm really excited to see Roger tonight. So we'll get in with him in a little bit, but right now we're going to do a regular segment that we do weekly on this show, and that's called 1,000 Words. With Rebecca Cunningham, I might add.
Ta-da! Hi, y'all.
Hi, y'all.
Oh, well, I had a great time in Daytona also. I didn't make it for the AMCA meet and the stuff that happened the first weekend, but I was there for John and his Chicago style hot dog thing. And that was a lot of fun. I just took the whole day. I hung out in his backyard and his shop and in the kitchen with Terry. And I just had a great time visiting with everybody who was there. And then I did some work. But I got to see a lot of people and I enjoyed that.
You were able to get some work done at Daytona. That's amazing.
Well, I was there to work. So that was why I got work done. Otherwise, I wouldn't have. If I had brought work I did bring work with me, but the work that I brought with me never got touched. But the work I was there to do, I did, and it went pretty good. I live streamed the monument ceremony, the Daytona 200 monument ceremony for 2021.
So Rebecca, what do you got for us tonight?
I have Just one of those little moments that happens on a regular basis during the chase and during the cannonball, where somebody has an issue on the side of the road. And during the chase, I kind of tagged along with Doug Wathke. He was the guy riding around at the back, so I just tagged along with Doug. And of course, he always adds some extra color commentary to anything he is helping with, which he does. So anyway, it was John Phillips, number 56, and he, I'm not sure if he's a new rider, but I think doing the chase was a new experience for him with this antique bike. So he had some extra issues, but he handled it all and did a great job. So, of course, when you're ready, just roll that video.
It was popping and farting. Oh, sorry, that's another F word. It was popping and sputtering. Trying a new condenser and cleaning the points. Which, after looking at the points, I think the points were probably the bigger problem.
Looks like the spring is too goddamn. You have another spring somewhere.
I don't know. Old, worn out OEM parts are always better than brand new repops. This guy's so well prepared. He's got all this extra stuff. It's great.
Yeah.
It's like he's done this before. Have you taken this on trips before?
No, furthest was Wauseon
Oh, okay.
that year.
Well, I mean, you packed good parts you can use. Not really sure why you packed 2 extra gas caps, but you never know.
Well, yeah, I've been told that you can lose them. Actually, those were the ones I was running, and I just put a set of aftermarket ones on. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, move it till it's closed and turn the key on. We'll see how it's sparking good. Might need to run a dollar bill through it to clean it some.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and spin it just a hair. Okay. It's a good thing about Harleys, you can use $1. They won't work on an Indian. You gotta use a $100 bill on them fuckers. Oh, sorry. Beep. And here we are talking to Doug. Beep, beep, beep. Better? Sounds better. Let me see what kind of spark you get.
Yeah, you can't even see the spark. You can't hardly even see it. Yeah. Remember earlier?
And
This-
back on the road.
This moment of Doug brought to you by Banks Gas Services. If you want to hear more of Doug, you
And
can't
there's
get
going to
enough
be a
Doug.
reality show of Doug's roadside antics.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
You
yeah.
can't get
There
enough
was
of
a-
Doug.
There was another moment, I can't remember if it was that day or the day after, where Dakota Dawn had an issue. So I'll eventually get that story put together. But the bugs attacked us, and they were like flying up my nose, and I was the only. And then it became one of those things where the bugs weren't bothering any of the guys, just me. And I was literally like I was in a swarm of gnats, and I could not get away from them. So, yeah, that was an interesting roadside fix. But Doug had lots of great commentary on that one, too. So yeah, you're right, Jason. I could do a whole reality TV show just on Doug's roadside fix commentary. Oh, so I didn't know. Was he testing the points? Is that what he was doing with the dollar?
Cleaning.
I was cleaning them.
Cleaning them. Okay. All right. Okay. And there was something John said, but he had like a bolt or something in his mouth, so it came out kind of garbled. I don't know what he said, but Doug understood.
He said the farthest he's been is Wauseon. I listened to it twice today. Yeah.
Well,
I
I'm
was
glad
trying to
you
figure
caught
out
it.
what he said.
Yeah.
Well, go back and listen to it. Farthest I've been is Wauseon. So.
Oh yeah. John's from Canada too, so he was one of our foreign riders.
That's right. Cool. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, and he really handled, because he had quite a few issues with the bike. I don't think there was any day that he had like a big major situation, but I got to capture him quite a bit on the side of the road. So, but he handled it all. You know, he wasn't afraid to dig in and fix whatever it was that was messing him up and get right back on the road.
Heck yeah. Well, another great video, another great segment. Can't wait to actually see some of these things in person coming up. Like we said, another cross-country chase coming up this July. Quick little plug there. So yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Excellent.
But hey, let's take a quick break here, pay some homage and support to our sponsors, and then we'll come back and we're gonna introduce you guys to a really great dude. I know we're gonna have a killer interview, and we'll see you guys back here in about 2 minutes.
I guess it was about 1958 or so. I was 13 years old. A friend had a homemade motor scooter. He let me ride it, and I just was taken by that. There were garage builders everywhere before the pros took over. Especially bikes and hot rods, you had to have friends that did all the different things. There's nothing in a Harley showroom I want, but if you tell me about a box, some boxes in the shed, man, I'll beat you there, you know. And then it was that fun and that personal pride that you took a basket case and you made something out of it. You know, anybody can go buy one of those, but you got to build one of these. And that's the difference. Dennis Kirk is really amazing because of so many things. There's a variety of parts, the speed, the ease of ordering. You know, you pick up the phone and just whip out a part number and it's in your shop in a day or two. I'm Ed Fish, and I'm from Corinne, Pennsylvania, and I'm a Dennis Kirk garage builder.
Hi, I'm Tom. I'm with Banks Brothers Motorcycles. One of the things I want to show you today is our new improved engine puller.
The changes to this machine has been in the arms and in the hands. We put hind joints in the hand to allow rotation of the engine, which makes it easier to get it in and out of the frame. With the angle change, we have equal clamping pressure on them. And over here we have what's called the posi lock, which allows this to be locked in place and the engine can't swing from side to side.
And we're going to show you just how easy it is to pull the motor out of the bike right now. George is actually going to come in, make contact with the cylinders, tighten it down, and he'll pull it out of there.
You lift it up, rotate it, and bring the assembly out of the frame. You see the motor starting to move, and it centers itself. This allows no side play once the motor's in place, and it keeps it safe. It can't fall out.
Visit BanksBrothersMotorcycles.com to order your Banks lift.
Did you catch that guy's shirt? Ed Fish's shirt?
I didn't see it.
Source. He had that Cycle Source shirt on. Our thanks.
How much did you have to pay to get him to wear that?
I don't know. We have to check in with the studio and see what they say. I wonder if our engineer is still awake. Are you still awake, Chris? No. He's too busy. We're on our own. Rogue. We can go rogue now, Jason.
You caught me without my headphones on. I'm sorry. Ed Fish is a national treasure, man. Like we did a
national treasure.
We did a full 15-minute interview. If anybody wants to see it, they can go to the Cycle Source YouTube page. But just, nice. I mean, here's a man that started his career as a machinist when Alcoa invented aluminum and made Works One in Pittsburgh. Started his first business with Eric Buell in his mother's basement, making brake rotors for race bikes. You know, like, just what an amazing life. Good story.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool stuff. And that commercial is awesome. I love what you did there. Nice. And Dennis Kirk, our sponsor, and all our sponsors up in the corner above Jason's head, above his left shoulder. Can you point there, Jason? Left shoulder, Jason. Point to you. We still can't do this. I'm sort of getting it now, you know. I mean,
it's crazy. It's crazy. Hey, before we bring our guests in, I want to do a quick shout out. No, we'll leave it till after the guests because I don't want you guys to get distracted and get off the site. So we'll talk about it after our guests. So I think we should bring in our guests now. This guy is, like you said early, tremendous. He's been into the antique motorcycle world here for a little bit now. Awesome. He's well known as Roger Green, the Wolverine, from Michigan, Wolverine chapter AMCA. I'm excited to figure out how he actually got that name and talk to him about some of his stories. So let's bring him in. Hey, Roger, what's happening?
How's it going?
How's my buddy doing?
Good. Happy to be here. Honored to have me as a guest on here.
Yeah. It's about time that we finally got some catching up to some of these guys that have been on the cross country chase and that are enthusiasts. So when we decided to start bringing some of these people on, you were one of my first choices to grab and say, hey, we got to get this guy.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I guess you want the story of how I got my name or my nickname there.
Yeah, let's start out with that.
Okay. I was on one of the road runs up in the Badger Derby, they called it, and a couple of Badgers gave me that name, and it really stuck, you know. So that's kind of what
explain for Roger. Explain for our audience, because we're not all AMCA guys. So explain for our audience what the Badgers are and what the Wolverines are, and where you're from.
Yeah, we're chapters on either side of Lake Michigan, basically. They're primarily, Milwaukee and eastern Wisconsin, and Wolverines are southern Michigan. And we've done some stuff together. We did the 70th anniversary of the Panhead and came over on the Badger. And I had made the route and when we came into Wauseon that year. And so, they're just chapters in the AMCA. They got a really strong chapter and they put on really nice road runs. And had a lot of fun with those guys. Got a lot of friends up there now.
When you say you came over on the Badger, you rode a Badger over there or what?
No, that's the slow ferry, we call it here in Michigan, from Manitowoc, Wisconsin to Ludington. And we had 70 panheads on there on that ride. And then, of course, in the chase in 19, we rode it the other way. And, you know, I've done the other ferry, which we call the fast ferry. And it's quicker, and it takes you from Muskegon to Milwaukee. But it just doesn't have the ambiance, I guess you could call it, of the old Badger steam ferry, you know? I mean, that thing is just so cool.
Oh, it really is. It's really historic, and you just get a good feeling when you're on the thing. I mean, with the history and being I think the very last coal steam fired ship that's left in existence in the United States. So
yeah, it is. They used to dump the coal ash right in the lake, but I guess the EPA had kind of heartburn about that, so now they have to recycle it. They showed us how there was a little movie or whatever on the ship showing how they did all that now, but
right,
that's one of our treasures of Michigan, you know.
No,
well, the other treasure is that bridge you guys had across. Tell us about that a little bit.
Oh yeah, the Big Mackinac Bridge opened in 1957, and before that, you had to take a ferry to get to the UP.
And the UP, for those people who don't know, is
the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and God's country up there. I mean, it's beautiful up there, and it was really fun to have the chase, you know, start up there at the Sioux and come across the bridge. I like to ride on the road service and look down through the grate to the water. I don't know, it's I think 150 feet or something. I don't know how high it is, but you know, that's
way
part
up
of
there.
Michigan. Yeah.
It makes a lot of people sick.
Yeah, there's people that are scared.
And a lot of people nervous.
Yeah. People scared to drive over it and stuff, you know. I never had that problem, but been across it many, many times.
Tell us a little history on that bridge, because I know it has there's some funky things about that bridge. One is they actually have somebody who will drive you over, I've heard. Is that right?
They do, I guess. Yeah. If you don't think you can do it, I think they can do that. There's a lot of wind advisory, you know, and sometimes they don't let you go if the wind's too bad. You can get in a lottery thing to climb one of the towers, because you can go up inside the tower. And I got a friend who has a part-time house up there, and he got to do it. He won it once, and you know, he showed us pictures. It was like way cool, way at the top up there, you know. Of course, then you can see Mackinac Island and the Lower Peninsula and the Upper Peninsula at the same time, and you know, it's pretty cool.
Wow, that's a killer. Heck yeah.
So I guess
before we get into learning Roger Green, the motorcycle Wolverine man, let's talk about Roger Green and what your normal day-to-day is, where you live at in Michigan, and let's just kind of learn that side of Roger first.
Okay, well, you know, I'm from southern Michigan, and we always have a map right here, you know, and it's like right down here. So I'm about 40 miles from the Indiana border in the middle of the state, and it's Battle Creek. Of course, it's known for, you know, cornflakes and Kellogg's and everything. We still have 2 cereal companies here, believe it or not. And
oh, no kidding.
What's that?
Oh, I was just saying, no kidding.
Yeah. My wife actually works for Kellogg's, but she hasn't been. I mean, they work from home now. It's, you know, kind of crazy. And
so she's in your kitchen making cereal.
Yeah. She's in the kitchen.
No, she's in consumer affairs and stuff, you know. Somebody bites on a piece of cereal and breaks their teeth, and she handles that kind of stuff.
Dang it. I was hoping she'd send me some recipes.
Yeah.
We have,
you know, we're actually going to be in Battle Creek. that reminds me, I think on September 11th of this year for the Cannonball. So Battle Creek's official stop of the Cannonball.
Yeah, that's great. I'm really excited about that. I try to spread that around as much as I can so that, you know, we can get people out there to see it. I don't know if the finish is going to happen at the Gilmore Car Museum or not, but you know, I realize nobody will have time to really see it, but that place is such a gem, and I'm lucky to live nearby it.
Right. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen with the Gilmore right now. We've been back and forth just a little bit. You know, we were locked in pre-COVID, even when we postponed last year. Little up in the air right now, but I'm trying to work some magic on it and trying to get it revived back again. I mean, if not, we'll do something with the great city of Battle Creek. So,
yeah,
hey,
let me know.
A couple of messages. Couple messages from our guest. Kyle Bowen says the Mackinac Bridge is 5th longest suspension bridge in the world, and Vinny Grasser is tuning in, and he's there with Ricky, and he wants to say big hello and thank you for the shirt, Jason. Awesome. So thanks, Vinny, for checking in. Good to see you.
Heck yeah. All right. So now that we've established that you're Roger and you live in Battle Creek, Michigan, what do you do for normal day to day? I mean, what's your profession?
I work on corporate and business jets. I'm a turbine engine mechanic, and there's a facility here, a family-owned company that has a facility here in Battle Creek that employs close to 700 people. And we do everything from aircraft interiors to paint jobs to maintenance and avionics installs and all kinds of things. And
cool.
We have upwards of 50 airplanes at a time from all over the world. Like, I'm working on quite a few from Brazil as of late, some from Europe and Isle of Man, and just all over. And that's,
oh wow,
you know, that's a majority of my time, obviously. But and then winter, you just kind of hole up. But after that, I mean,
what got you into aircraft mechanics?
I'm an Air Force veteran, and I did avionics in the Air Force after. Well, I cross-trained. I was a security policeman, and I guarded nuclear missiles in North Dakota when I was 18 years old. And that's where I bought my first Harley. And then I cross-trained to avionics, and I was in California and was stationed there for like my last 3 years and wound up living there for a total of 10 years before I moved back here.
Oh, wow. We actually got something in common. I mean, I was also in the Air Force. I did law enforcement, and I was actually stationed in North Dakota. So
no, were you at Minot?
No, I wasn't. I was in Grand Forks, but I was in Minot quite a bit. You know, traveling back and forth between the two. So
yeah, that's where I was at Minot.
Minot, it's a crazy place up there.
Yeah, I still got friends up there though, believe it or not. And we took the Wolverine COVID tour last summer, and we went to the Badger run, and then me and another guy rode our side valves up into North Dakota, and I got a friend over in Grand Forks, and we went and seen Roy Kiefer as well. He put us up for a night, and we rode up to Grand Forks, and that was my ride last year. It was about 3,000 miles.
Heck yeah.
Well, Roger,
and did you ride the 37 ULH?
37, yeah. That's my main bike. I do have a couple of bikes that could be Cannonball eligible. I have a 13 Excelsior twin that I've had for a long time, and due to COVID, I was able to work on it a lot. I had to make a lot of my own stuff, and I mean, it's kind of cobbled together, but in January, I invited a bunch of my friends over, and I said, look, I'm going to try and start this thing. And I had no idea if it was going to start or not. And when I started pedaling, it started popping off. I was like, whoa, this thing's going to start. So, you know, what do you do after you get it started? Well, you take it for a ride. So we took it outside, and I drove it down the street. And I've had that bike like 23 years or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember watching the video. That was pretty exciting because I know you'd been working on it prior months, kind of watching you on that. And, the anticipation with the starting party and all that kind of stuff. It was really neat to watch.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if I was going to be just sorely embarrassed and disappointed, but turns out it started right up, and So,
right. So have you paid attention to that bike since then that day, or?
I haven't. I've been kind of doing honeydew projects and painting in the house and some organizing in my garage and stuff, and I really need to get back on it, and I need to do some work on my chase bike too. So
Right.
I'll do
I
that.
know you got another cool bike too. Is it a 29 Harley JD that you also got too?
Yeah, I have a 29 JD that I had chased for quite a while, and I think it's been a Michigan bike its whole life. And I've been able to trace it back to a local racer guy that he bought it from Dan Raymond's shop in Muskegon in the early 60s. And the story was that some guy had brought it in there to get it worked on and then never came and paid for it. So I was able to get it. And yeah, somewhere along the line, somebody got a title for it. And then this guy sold it to another guy. And I knew he had it, and I should have tried to chase it then because he had sold it. This guy had it a number of years, and he sold it to another guy, and that guy was kind of internet savvy, and I had to pay pretty good for it. But I'm glad I got it because that Dan Raymond guy is in the Michigan Motorcycle Hall of Fame. He was a Harley dealer in Muskegon, and he also won the Jack Pine Enduro, I think, at least 4 times. So.
Oh, wow. And do you think that bike was actually on the Jack Pine Enduro?
I don't think so. The guy that had it before the previous owner, I got it. He alluded to that, but after talking to the guy that owned it before that, I don't think so. But it could have been because he did win it in 29. But who would have took a brand new 29 Harley and subjected it to that? I mean, that Jack Pine thing.
Unless they were sponsored,
Yeah,
it might have been a sponsor's bike. So. Hard telling, not knowing, right?
Yeah, and then since then, my local Harley dealer, he's pretty friendly to old bikes and stuff, and he let me put it on display in there. Well, I went in there one day and he said, "Hey, I know this guy. He's got a 29 45 Harley that he wants to sell." So I got a hold of the guy. He sent me pictures, and it was a Jack Pine bike. I mean, it had a handle on the front fender. It had a big old bar off the back fender. The pipes had been put up like that. The fenders, cut out. And I mean, it was, and come to find out, it was another Jack Pine guy. It had been his bike. Gosh, his name, I'm having a brain fart. But anyway, he won the Jack Pine 9 times. And it was his Jack Pine proven bike. Well, I could have bought this bike, but I didn't really want it. I would have wanted to make it rideable and stuff. And
right.
I think it just needed to be preserved the way it was. So I talked to Harley dealer in Lansing into buying this bike because the guy was a Harley dealer in Lansing. So many of them racers were back then. And so now they have that bike on display in their dealership.
Roger, you're pretty famous for your long distance stuff. We know that you rode the chase, but I also understand you rode home from the chase.
Yeah, Jim Gilfoyle,
you do all these long distance things. You have a pretty interesting story about one of my friends and your friends, Cliff Clayton. Tell us a little bit about Cliff and that long distance ride, and then we'll come back to the stuff about the chase.
Well, what happened was I had come home from Davenport and I wanted to go for a ride. So I had an original paint 70 FL at the time. And I took it for a ride and I stopped at a gas station near my house on I-94. And these 3 guys come walking up and they say, "Oh, nice bike, mate." I'm like, "You guys ain't from around here, are you?" And turns out they were from Australia. And I thought I'd recognize Cliff from Facebook from the Classic Panhead page and stuff. But anyway, he friended me. And then long story short, we, conversed back and forth. And then he got a hold of me and he said, well, you going to be in Wauseon? I'm like, yeah. And he said, well, we'll have to have a beer or something. He said, I'm buying a 68 Electroglide in New Jersey and taking a month to ride it to LA and shipping it home. And of course, Rob, that was a bike at your shop in your neighborhood, basically. And
yeah, we redid that bike.
Yeah. And so I told Cliff, I said, well, I don't know what your route is, but if you want to, come up through Michigan and go through the UP or one of the ferries so you can miss Chicago. And he was like, well, I don't know. And he didn't know. So it worked out. And he followed me home from Wauseon. And we put his bike on the lift, went over his bike, and he did his laundry, and we went out to dinner. And the next day I called into work, and I'm going riding. So I rode with him to Muskegon and put him on the fast ferry to Milwaukee. But I asked him, I said, can I rent a bike down there? Thinking, wow, I could go to Australia and ride. He's like, well, what do you want? A knucklehead, a panhead, a shovelhead? Well, gee, I wouldn't be fussy. He said, yeah, I got 23 bikes. And so.
Cliffy's a character, man. He's great.
Yeah, Cliff's a great guy. And for him to loan me, and it turns out I rode that same machine down there. I flew into Sydney. He showed me around Sydney, and then we flew north to his, basically it'd be like going to Florida for us because you got to go north to get to the tropics down there. And
right.
Not that, you need it in Australia, and then we worked on the bikes for 3 days, and then Cliff on a 65, me on his 68, and his buddy, Wrong Way McBride, don't follow that bloke, on a 46 knucklehead.
Is that Pete? Was that Pete?
No. Yeah, Peter McBride,
Yeah, Pete.
Yeah.
He's a character.
Oh, yeah, he's big time. And the whole story of that bike, that's something he would have to tell, how his engine got stolen and how he found it years later. He had to pay a ransom for it. Oh, my God. But anyway, so we rode 1,200 miles south to the Victorian Highlands and just to spectate at what was called the Great Race. And that's Indians against Harleys. And these Australians are very passionate about their antique machines. And it was awesome. I'm sure my mouth was hanging open the whole time,
You were there how long, Roger?
I was there about 15 days. Yeah.
Nice.
I'd like to go back and go the short way around Australia. You know which way that is? That's
no
anti-clockwise. You know why? Because you're in the left lane. That's a Peter McBride thing for you right there. Think of the money I saved on tires and stuff. Like, just by taking the inside lane. But that was that's hard to get used to, that riding on the other side.
Let's take a look at Roger. Let's take a look at some of the photos you sent in to us, and maybe you could talk about them, and then we'll talk about how you got involved in the chase. But we're a little limited on time tonight, so we're gonna kind of zip through this. I'm sorry about that, but our mobile studio is on the road.
Yeah, so that's Mike Cables. He shipped his bike in his 48 Panhead in from Oregon to Battle Creek, and I picked it up for him, and then he flew in and he rode up with us. And then when we got done with the chase, he rode it back to Miami, and Hall Bikes picked it up from there. I think at that point he didn't know that they were coming all the way into the Keys. But we're waiting for a ferry right here in Michigan, a small ferry on the way up right outside Charlevoix, Michigan. And
where does that ferry take? Where's that ferry
just
take
takes you across that body of water. I mean, it's a real short ferry ride. You know, there's not, I mean, it's real small. I think this was in Indiana, and I think that was the longest map, and I rolled that out so that I could post that and show my friends like how long the map was.
And some people don't believe us that it's like, you know, they think it's like a page or two, you know.
Yeah, no.
I mean, we've had maps that have actually been, I think, 27 pages long.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that I didn't have to glue them all together. You know, I guess in the old days you used to have to tape them together or something, didn't you?
Yeah, that was a cruel. You actually used to have to. We print them out 8.5 by 11, and even with the old type of route holders, you would still have to trim the edges, tape them all together, and then tape them into your box, and it was just a pain in the ass. And it took me a long time to develop this technology and find the right type of printing processes. And it was a huge commitment on my part. But when I actually rode the Cannonball and had to deal with those other types of things, I was like, I'm making the investment and I'm going to find a way to make this easier on all the riders. So,
well, that's good. Thank you.
I made a huge investment in it, and got a company to make me the special paper, and here we are today. Big long scrolls.
Yep. I didn't save all mine like Jody Perwitz does. She rolls hers all up and saves them.
I saved all mine.
Oh, okay. So this guy here, I think his name was Grover, if I remember right, and he had owned that Harley dealer in Macon, and he had been a mechanic in the Black Sheep Squadron in World War II. But what was funny, I got to talking with him. I told him I was from Michigan, and he said, well, I worked for Bun Perry, and that is Perry's Harley Davidson, which is in the next town over, and that's Michigan's oldest family-owned Harley dealer. And so he had worked there as a very young man for the guy who started that dealer in, I think, 22 or something like that. But I was real honored to get to talk with him, being a World War II vet and everything. And I think he's since passed now, but it was cool.
Yeah, I think he ended up passing last year. I mean, he had a really neat story, family-owned dealership. You know, one of the longest lasting family-owned, you know, and he worked there every single day, that guy. It's crazy.
Even he'd come in like that in his wheelchair. I mean,
yeah. Unfortunately, I think he passed away just last year, about exactly a year ago. So.
Oh yeah. Well, he was in his 90s. He had to have been, you know. But kind of on that note, I don't know if you see these pictures behind me. My grandfather. This is a long picture right there, a panoramic, but I don't know if you can see that. That's my grandpa on a WLA and a couple of his buddies. And he trained on WLAs in May of 1943. And fortunately, when he went to Europe, he didn't have to ride them because they had a shorter life expectancy riding behind the lines and getting picked off by snipers and whatnot. And funny story, I was in the Harley Museum in the war exhibit there, and I looked down, I'd been there 3 times before, and I looked down at this one picture, and it was a little snippet, and it was just like this panoramic picture back here, just a different pose, and there was only 3 guys in this snippet, and my grandpa was one of them. I'm like,
oh, no kidding?
Grandpa.
No kidding.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And so that was on the Badger Derby, and we had a special tour of the archives at that point. And, you know, I'm sure Bill Redensel arranged all that or whatever, but I talked to the archivist and I said, you know, I got a copy of that picture, I mean, it's a different pose. Like the one they had, they got their helmets on. On this one, they're just sitting on their bikes kind of thing, right? You can see the civilian instructors and everything. But so when Mama Tried came around one year, I called and arranged that I could take that picture up there and they could digitize it and they would make me a few copies of mine and the one of theirs. Well, I forgot when I was growing up that there was names on the back of that. And my grandpa there's probably at least 3/4 of the guys that are in the picture signed the picture and where they were from. And I just couldn't believe it. And so I asked them, where did you get that picture? And they said, well, a guy's son donated it to us. And sure enough, on the back, his dad's name in his own handwriting was on there. And
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know, kind of a cool thing. There's a lot of people from Kansas.
That's cool history.
I gave Kelly a copy of it with the names on the back to, you know, if anybody like their grandparent or whatever maybe had been in the photo, you know, I don't know, but I don't know. It's one of my cherished possessions for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Grandpa never rode bikes after the war. Grandma wouldn't let him. You know, she knew that he'd be out probably raising hell and stuff, you know, so.
He'd never come back.
But he did buy us our first mini bike when we were kids. So I think I got some of my motorcycling from him, you know.
Right. What was the first mini bike?
Well, that one that he bought us was a CT70. And my folks had 5 acres, and between my brother and my cousins and everybody, we probably put 5,000 miles on that thing just on 5 acres, you know. And
oh yeah.
But I do remember the first time I ever rode mini bikes. My folks took us over to this place, the cousin's house, and they had some Z50s, and I think I was about 8 years old. And after that, it was like all over. And in fact, I still remember where the place is, and I rode my Panhead by there just thinking about that. Like, that's where I rode my first motorcycles, or, you know, mini bikes. And I don't know, I guess now that I think about it, I've probably never been without a motorcycle since then. At least one.
Heck yeah.
You know?
Huh. Heck yeah. Let's go back to a couple of those pictures and keep moving through those a little bit.
Oh yeah. That's the sheared hub.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was after we finished for the day at Miami Harley, and it was like 12 miles down to the motel. Fortunately, we had finished for the day, so it didn't count against me. But when it was raining, we kept waiting and for it to get, you know, quit raining, and it got dark. And anyway, Joe Gimple and Jim Guilfoyle were with me, and all of a sudden I didn't have any power to the rear wheel. I didn't know what had happened. I thought the rivet sheared on the sprocket or something, but it was kind of funny. There was a couple of cops sitting in the gas station that I rolled into, and I went over and talked to them, and they were like, well, the best thing you can do is get out of here. I'm like, well, what do you mean? I said,
and how am I going to do that?
I said, it ain't safe here. And I'm like, well, I never felt threatened. You know, I mean, it wasn't like that. It was, you know, 9 o'clock on a Saturday night, and the lights were on in the gas station, whatever. So we called the trailer. They came back and got me. In the meantime, this cop had given me the idea, why don't you Google mobile welding? I'm like, oh, geez, aren't you a smarty? And so I did, and I called this guy, and then he met us as we were pulling into the motel. And I said, look, I don't even know for sure what's wrong here. I said, why don't you go to dinner with your old lady? Because his old lady was like on him, I think, about taking her to dinner or something. And so I said, if it can be fixed, I'll call you. So I took it off, and that's what I found. I mean, the wheel, it was still bolted to the wheel. All I had to do was take the lug nuts off and clock it just right. And that guy took it into somebody's motel room and ground off the powder coating. And then he took it outside and put it on a curb and put a bead of weld around it. And then I put it back together and was able to make the last leg. You know,
that's amazing.
And then I was almost late because I knew this place down in No Name Key that I wanted to eat lunch, and it started getting pretty late, you know. But yeah,
well, you know what almost late is, Roger, right? Almost
what's that?
Late. You know what almost late is?
Yeah. No.
On time.
On time. Okay.
Can I get an amen?
Amen. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah. Matt just chimed in. Matt Miller said it was the welder's wife's birthday that night.
Oh, is that what it was? Yeah. And you could tell this guy, he was from New Jersey or something. No offense, Rob. And you know, you could tell he was kind of.
Was he in a big hurry?
He was a high energy guy. I'll say that, right?
Was he in a big hurry? Wanted to do everything? Come on, let's get this done. I gotta go. That kind of thing.
Kind of. I don't know. It was. It all worked out, right? And I paid. You know, he told me, I can't even remember what he told me, but I gave him a good tip. You know, and I'm still running on that welded hub. You know,
don't take any wood pickles. A good tip like that or something, or what?
Well, I don't know. I think I gave him $50 or something. I don't know. No, I mean, it was, and that, you know, after that, we, and you know, that picture of me at the finish line with you and the flag there, Jason, you know, what you can't really see on that picture. I don't know. You can't see my primary covers off because all the screws fell out. I had like 2 or 3 screws left. And yeah, see, I'm running no primary. And,
open primary, baby.
And the other side, the generator is strapped on because I lost one of my generator screws. And I thought, and the other one backed out, but it didn't go away. And I thought that the Healy coil was gone because I pushed this bolt back in, but it was in one of the other holes. You know what I mean? That didn't have any threads in it. So I'm like, oh my God. So one of the other guys, I forget his name, he gave me a strap and I strapped it on there and it ran okay that day. But
did it leak?
So what's that?
Did it leak oil?
Well, not any more than usual, I guess. But it did all right. And then so I was able to get my primary back on. We stayed extra day in Key West. We were going to leave the next day. And we stayed another day so we could go to Mike Carson's surprise birthday thing, you know, and that was pretty fun. And then
that was fun.
I didn't know what I was going to do. I know I needed to fix his generator before I tried to ride all the way home. And I had arranged, company I work for has a hangar in Fort Lauderdale. At Fort Lauderdale Executive, and I was going to have some parts shipped in there and go there. Well, there's this other guy, somebody put me on to Dave Clemens, a real respected guy in the antique motorcycle community, and I called him up and I said, look, I need maybe a Healy coil and a couple generator bolts. I don't know exactly what's going on with it. He said, well, if I don't have the parts on the shelf, I got 237s sitting here and we could take the bolts out of that. So we went to his place in Davie, Florida, and worked on my bike and able to get it roadworthy again. It sure seems like it took a long time to get out.
That's pretty cool. I remember seeing you take off. We were leaving the hotel around the same time as you guys. And you were telling me you were headed back. You were going to ride back to Michigan. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. So you were able to get that generator fixed?
Yeah. Yeah. And then the only other thing I think that happened was Jim Guilfoyle's kickstand started going bad. And when we had gone down on the route down through Florida, I don't know if there was a bike shop that we passed in this really little town. I think it was Flower or Plants. I It was like a little village or something. There was this bike shop there, and we come back up north, and I'm like, I looked at Jim and I said, I think we're on that road where that bike shop is. And we pulled in there, and there's a big painting mural on the wall of Easy Rider, and then that guy had a kickstand, and I think he even gave it to Jim. And so then we made it home. Yeah, that's that guy's shop right there. Yeah, Wayne was his name. It's over. Yeah, see Wayne's something, but yeah, that was pretty cool.
Citrus.
Greg Allen actually rode along with us on the way home too. So there was 3 of us on the way home.
Cool.
But I tell you, after the chase, it seemed like everything in my life was really boring for at least 3 months, from all that adrenaline and excitement and everything, it was great. And
it really is. There's a true PTSD with these events that sometimes it takes 2 to 3 months to get back to normal a little bit.
You did really well too, Roger. Right? Tell us what your results were.
I did. I guess I scored pretty well on the test, and being a little bit of an older bike, I was in class 3, but if I would have got that damn railroad track question right, Jerry Wheeland, I think that's his last name, and I tied. We tied for first in class 3, but as you all know, what the tiebreaker is age, and he was older than me, so he beat me by age, and I think I was 4th overall. But nice. It was just amazing to have made it all that way in time and everything, because that one day when my generator started coming off up there in Florida, it was, and the chase truck was behind me at a gas station, and they pulled up, and then that's when I discovered my generator was falling off and stuff, and I tried to just tighten the strap up, and then I could hear the gear not meshing good, and I knew that wasn't going to work, so I left them and went on down the road, and I didn't exactly hide from them, but I didn't present myself right there, you know what I mean? So I did some other stuff, and they got ahead of me. The chase truck was actually ahead of me, and that day I was pushing my bike way harder than I wanted to. I mean, my hands were going numb. I was running about 70 on that old girl, and
oh dang,
wow.
Yeah, it wasn't good, but I wanted to catch up. Well, then I finally caught them at a gas station, and they were picking up I think Richard Campbell. He was on some foreign bike, and they were picking him up, and I got gas, and I thumbed my nose at him, and I kept on going. And then I finally started catching a few other people, I think I finally passed Cameron. What's that?
Did you catch Bruce?
Oh, Redpath?
Yeah.
No, I'm sure he was way ahead. He skips checkpoints, so he can.
We're gonna have to get Bruce on here one of these days.
Yeah.
Try to defend himself.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think I finally passed Cameron though. And then every time I went by Mike Carson, I gave him a yee-haw, and he thought I was crazy. And I had a friend meet in Milwaukee, and he gave me a bunch of beef sticks. So I was handing out these beef sticks going down the road. It was a beef stick handoff, and I don't know. It was just a lot of fun. Can't wait to do it again.
We have any more photos that we have up there?
Is there one on my bike with a lighthouse? Oh, okay. So the story of this one here, there's another picture of my bike with a lighthouse up on Lake Superior, right? So I had left Sault Ste. Marie and went west the day before we started, and I stuck my feet in Lake Superior That's about all you want to stick in there. And I grabbed a little pebble that I carried in my pocket the whole way. I didn't know if I was going to stay in there or not. But when we got to Key West there at, what do you call that? Sunset Square or whatever the square is there.
Mallory Square.
Mallory Square, yeah. I took that out, and that was right after I threw it in down there, that little pebble that I had picked out of Lake Superior. So it was kind of just symbolic that I made. Oh, there's Dave Clemens. He's the guy who helped me out with my bike. And that, you see that cool chopper there, that chopper, he recreated that chopper of one that he made in like 1960 or 59 or something, an exact replica of it. Yeah.
Nice. Hey, I want to go back to that other picture real quick. And Chris, there's a gentleman behind you in that picture kneeling down. And I wonder if Chris Callan can zoom in on that. That's the host of our show. That's the host of our studio Tom right Banks.
There. Yeah. Yeah, I think them guys were watching me. And I had somebody take a picture of me. I think one of them might have said, "Yeah, you're going to give it an invasive species down here from Lake Superior." You know? Like, it's just a rock. But,
oh, that's great. All right,
let's hit the camera roll real quick.
Yeah, we got some more pictures here, I think.
So that's the lighthouse on Lake Superior there, where I had stuck my feet in the water. You can see my tour pack doesn't have very many stickers on it at all. So every Harley dealer we stopped at, I tried to buy get a sticker. Boy, some of them are pretty proud.
Actually, I want to talk about the tour pack real quick because it was actually really pretty neat. Of what it took you to put that thing together and what you had in it.
Well, I was working on a guy's bike at the time, and he works actually at Post Cereal in the maintenance shop, right? And he said, "Well, I can build you some kind of tour pack, right?" Well, we were going to cover it with leather, and so it was like out of stainless steel. He took a big pipe and quartered it, and that used the front and the back and everything. I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. So I was the one who took the aluminum. Actually, I trimmed some of his stainless steel out because it was heavy. I mean, it's still heavy. And then I took aluminum from work. Now, I'm not a structures guy at all, but I guess my rivets came out pretty good because it looked all right, and it was kind of cool. People were asking me, is that from 1937? Like,
yes, absolutely.
But I really need to get my bike came with a VL fender on it. Okay. And it sits higher because Jim Guilfoyle designed the rack, and he had one made for me, and I tried to put it on my bike and it wouldn't fit. So, because the fender sat too high. So I'd really like to get a regular fender, a regular big twin fender. But if I don't, I put a different tour pack on for my COVID tour last year. It was lighter, and my friend painted it the same color as my bike and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, that's kind of, that tour pack kind of tells a story now with all them different stickers and stuff on it. It's like you don't want to make another trip out of it, if you will. But it sure was good. And I took those
what did
bags.
You actually what was the main purpose of it? What did you carry in there?
Oh, not tires. All kinds of stuff. I mean, anything I thought I would need. I had a spare belt because I was running a primary drive belt, and all my particulars, maps, manuals, and those saddlebags right there are made by a guy here in Battle Creek, the Packet Saddlebag Company. And I had gotten one. My friend had a bike shop, and he had bought some spares from the guy. So he gave me one side. Well, my Dyna has, had the other match because the guy couldn't make me another one right away. So I took this left saddlebag off my Dyna and put it on that rack. And I still am only running one saddlebag on my Dyna.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was the weight of that box? Keith Kronoff wants to know.
Geez, empty, it had to be probably at least 20 pounds, I bet. That's empty, you know. But
yeah,
it was pretty secure. It wasn't lockable in there, but I did have a lock box down there for my, you know, unmentionables.
Hey, I would use that thing as a coffee table now. That thing would be killer.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, you know, I wanted to be fully prepared with as many parts and tools and, you know, rain gear, cold weather gear, and you know that's what was so challenging about the chase was.
Yeah, we've seen it all.
Yeah, it was like if I went on my own ride, what I would have to take, or even some more, because you know, hey, I don't want to break down to get left behind, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk about the heat real quick if we can, and then I think we're going to have to wrap up unless Jason has some more questions. But let's talk about.
I got one more question after this.
Talk about the heat on the chase.
Oh, it seemed like it just kept getting hotter and hotter and hotter. I mean, it was, and my bike would, for whatever reason, it would get so hot and it wouldn't start. I put fresh plugs in, it would start right up. I don't know. I changed plugs so many times it wasn't even funny, but it yeah, there's one time right there Michael Lichter got me near a store and I was changing them because it wouldn't start. And,
on a hot engine with good thing you had the gloves, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was, yeah, but it just kept getting hotter. Now I don't mind hot so much. I hate being cold. Don't ask me why I live in Michigan still, but that's the way it is. And you know, like when I was in Australia, it was winter here but summer there, and Cliff was like, well, you handled that heat way much better than any of us. I'm like, well, it felt good to me having been in the winter.
Right.
Heck yeah. All right. So, well, we're running out of time. I've got one last question. And I kind of always wrap up on this. What can we expect out of Roger Green, the Wolverine, over the next year?
Well, of course, you know, I want to participate in the chase, and I don't know. I want to make another run to California. I don't. Unfortunately, I don't know if I ever have enough time and money to do the Cannonball. Even though I got a couple of eligible machines. Now, I'm not going to say never, but after I got my Panhead, which was basically my first antique Harley in 13, summer of 14, I rode it to California and back by myself. And that was quite an adventure, if you will, but it's not quite as fun doing it by yourself. Not that I'm scared to do it. I've done it several times on modern bikes and whatever, but because you know, having been stationed out there, I got friends out there still, and now with the chase and the antique motorcycle community, there's so many people that you know all around the country that you can stop and say hi to and see their stuff, and you know, and it just, most people are just so open to any of that kind of thing. It's pretty amazing.
Well, I know I really enjoyed it when you stopped by and saw us here in Jersey. It was great to see you. It was a big surprise. Very cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. You gave me a good tour of the shop and everything.
Yeah,
but
well, if you get back this way again, you'll come see the new shop.
Yeah, I'll have to.
Okay.
Love to.
Yeah.
All
Very
right.
cool, Roger.
Well, it was great to have you on tonight, Roger.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Another great guest tonight.
Quite an honor.
I'm hoping that we get to see you here pretty soon, out on the road somewhere, or a swap meet, or on the next chase, or any type of event out there. It doesn't really matter, just as long as we get to hang out. Again, great show tonight. I want to thank everybody that helps on this, from our sponsors to Source Media, Chopper Town,
Banks
what am I
Gas
missing, Rob?
Services, Banks Gas Services,
all those guys.
the Motorcycle Cannonball, the Chase, Retrocycle, Chris Callan, Heather Callan, Marge Kleiman, our talent coordinator. She does a great job for us, gets us great notes, and does the pre-interviews with our guests. Of course, Rebecca Cunningham.
Right.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention Rebecca, as always.
We have another great show next week.
Jason,
always.
Can you stay with us?
Dude, I got.
He's so busy. He is so busy.
So I wanted to. I was going to show this earlier and I forgot.
All right, let me just give a quick shout out to Walter Curl, who's here for all the Source Media shows. Walter, great to see you, buddy. Hope to see you soon.
So we got. So if you go onto the Cannonball store, cannonballstore.com, we're starting to put some of the 2021 stuff up there. The latest thing is the 2021 sticker packs. Nice. So you get 3 stickers in a sticker pack. While you buy these for a limited time, I'm throwing in a bunch of extra stickers. We also got these, which just got put on today. These are the 2021 Chase sticker packs. So we got some there. Again, throwing a bunch of extra free stuff in with it. Go out there, help us. Every piece of merchandise that you guys buy directly helps the Motorcycle Cannonball. As you know, with events like ours, we've all been devastated over the last couple of years with the pandemic and stuff. Along with us buying merch and helping all these other little shops buy merchandise or parts, it helps keep us alive and going and bringing you guys events like this. So, please help out however you can, whether it just be a couple bucks or whatever. It really does help us. So we're trying to bring you some cool stuff on there, some collectible stuff, some great designs, all that kind of stuff. So, we also got keychains, which are very limited edition. So those won't last very long on there. And anyway, let's wrap this up. It's time to go. Got to get something to drink. And we'll be back here, same time, same everything next week. And yeah.
Same Cannonball time. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder there, Chris Callan.
Same Cannonball channel.
All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks, Rebecca.
See you guys next week.
Bye, Jason. Talk to you soon, buddy.